Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 24th episode, and this is Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you guys all have a great week this week and have a great holiday this coming weekend with Thanksgiving. Pat, it's so good to see you. You're having Thanksgiving with your kids, right?
That's right.
So, kind of, what did you call it? Thanksgiving, Christmas, or something? Kind of doing them all
Uh,
together.
thanks, Miss.
Thanksmas. That is awesome. You need to take pictures of it and send so we can post to everybody.
Okay, well,
I know they would love to see your family. I really enjoyed when we did Father's Day with your boys. That was something really cool. So, well, we're here today, and Pat, I'm going to hand it over to you. We're doing going the distance today. Philippians 4:13. Pat, taking it over to you.
great. It's great to be with you this morning again. Uh, I'm going to talk about going the distance. It's a little book that I read in. I always look for things that can help me and challenge my life. And this is going the distance. There's some thoughts in here I would like to challenge you today. The title of the whole thing is How to Build Your Faith for the Long Haul. And some thoughts here. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Most of us probably know that verse and quote that verse, but it says I can do all things. That means you can do things. You can do anything in your life. You can do it. And here are some thoughts today on going the distance. If you want to, when you talk about this, um, God isn't interested in the speed as much as in the distance. Let me say it again: in speed and distance. I can remember when I first got saved. I grew up. I got saved in a great youth group, great youth pastor, and some people in the youth group, boy, they just went gung ho for God. Because he tried to encourage us to carry our Bibles to school and so on. And I remember this one person. Boy, he was gung ho about everything. And he wanted to go, 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 and he wanted everything to do go. And all of a sudden, one day he fell. And I thought about this. I said, why did he fall? I said, he had things going, and people around him thought the same thing. And because of this, he was in the speed and not the distance. The Christian life is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. It's a marathon to just keep on going for God. And when you think about this, we need to do that within our life. Is have God do this. But here, notice this: if we want to go the distance in the Christian life, we cannot look back. Once we put our eyes on God, don't look back. The only thing at times we think you look back is when we talk about retreats. Retreat is looking back and then looking forward at what you can do more for God. But if we're going to live for God, we cannot look back. We must have to look forward and press on for God. You press on no matter what in our life. And we think about that thought. Think about this. It distractions can't stop us, but they can slow us down and push us in the wrong directions. So there's gonna be some distractions in life when you think about this. But God says, I can do all things through Christ. That distraction that's in your life. It can draw us away from God. But we need to keep our eyes on God in everything we do. And with that in mind, think of this. The way to deal with guilt is to confess it to the Lord, get back up on your feet, and start walking again. If we have guilt in our life, confess it to God today. Have and get God to help us because He's there to help you. Remember, when you start going and that distraction started bothering you, guys going the wrong directions, is when you took your eyes off God. That's where you left God. God did not leave you. And when you think about this, get up on your feet and go again. Well, I think a lot of the cross country race we had every camp week at Hoosier Hills Baptist Camp. And I remember one time my son Jonathan, he was just young at that age, but every time there was one, he was in that race. He loved to run a cross country race. He looked forward to that every day. I remember one time we took off, and most of you know who's about the camp. We take off and go around the lake and around the campus. And I remember him tripping and falling, hit something and fell, a hole or something. But he just didn't stay there down. He got back up on his feet and kept on going. And that's what we need to do within our life. is keep on going for God, and He will help us. And when we think about that, a thing that's going to help us to keep going and go for the long haul is daily devotions is very valuable to your life and mine. It's getting along with God every day and ask God to help us. Because, you think about going the distance, it's just with God we go the distance. Find something to help you. It's like this book, I got to go in the distance. This helped me in my devotions at that particular time. And it can help you the same way. But as you think about this whole thought today, keep on going for Jesus. Go the distance for Him. And remember, it's not a race. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And you take one step at a time when God will give you where you need to go. Remember one time my father-in-law had a book. I had that tape and talked about you taking one step at a time to be successful. And that's how you be successful in your Christian life. It's to what step by step, let's have God help you in everything you do. That's my challenge to you today.
That's awesome. And I think about what you're saying, Pat, as far as it being a marathon and not a sprint. In life, sometimes we fall. There's things that happen to us, like you were just saying. And in a marathon, we have seen people who have fallen during a marathon and I used to run cross country in high school, and I remember one particular guy who fell going out the gate, and you thought it was over for him. But cross country, that's a long distance. He didn't quit. He got back up, dusted himself off, took off, and he actually finished first in the race. Because I remember that we were amazed at watching that. And a lot of times our problem is we give up, and there's potholes, there's things we can't see in front of us that God sees. And so, it's just like with me in my life. You can let the guilt and the shame cripple you for so many years. Or, like you said, you can decide to, seek God's forgiveness and giving it to God. The hard part is leaving it there with Him, because shame and guilt wants to attach itself to you. But that's why Christ died for us. And, we're not the sum of the worst moments in our life. We're the sum of who God has called us to be. And He's going to give us that grace, that forgiveness, and that endurance that we need to keep going. But like you said, it takes starting off having that relationship with Christ every day, doing the devotions, having the things that help us to move forward in life, so that when those times come, we're grounded, and it makes it easier to get back up and going again, because you have that relationship with Christ, and we don't just give up. So, Pat, love that today. Thank you so much. We hope you all have a great holiday week. Enjoy your family, and until next time, keep growing your faith.